What is up, everyone? Welcome to the No Name Podcast. We don't have a name yet, and we will cover that shortly, but my name is James Boria.
Mine is Leclerc.
My good buddy. It's a privilege to...
I don't like the word buddy, but anyways.
I apologize. Just for reference, Tyler does not like buddy, but it's good to be here with you on this podcast that we just planned very recently. So I guess to start off, get a little background on each other. So I just want to ask you, who are you? What do you do? Tell me a little about you.
Yeah, so my name is Leclerc, like I said. Basketball trainer, business owner, gym owner. Big into health, fitness, getting better, self-help, all that kind of good shit. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of very basic spiel. Business owner, trainer trying to transition to more of a business owner, but that's my background.
Full entrepreneur. Yes. That's awesome, like myself. And you've kind of fast-tracked that process for me. I just started my own online coaching and mindset business. For background on me, I'm a functional strength coach from Long Island, moving to Mass with these great fellows right here, Alex behind the camera and Tyler, to bring Massachusetts a new level of strength training and mindset training and take TJL to the next level. But speaking of TJL, you've been through quite the journey yourself from what I've learned traveling with you and hearing about you. Mm-hmm. So you jumped when to start your business?
2018.
So 4 years ago?
Spring of 2018, yeah.
And you're what,
I was...
22?
No, I'm 23 now.
23.
I was, 19? Yeah, 19.
Shit.
So I technically started in 2017, went to college, dropped out in 2018.
Where'd you played basketball in college?
Salem State, yeah.
Salem State.
Yeah.
How'd that go? Nah?
Yeah.
Did you play at all?
I mean, yeah, I played a little bit, but it just wasn't fun. I liked training. I liked working out.
Interesting.
Playing was just
So you didn't like playing, but you loved training?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I like the grind of it. I don't know.
See, that's funny because I hate playing and I hate training baseball.
Really?
Strength,
I love. Baseball doesn't seem like a very interesting sport to train for. I mean, you get to lift a lot, which is good, but...
Yeah, but even the skill of baseball, as I look back, when I was younger and up until college, and my coach really ruined it for me in college, mm-hmm. but I love the game of baseball. If I go to a professional baseball game, I love mm-hmm. watching baseball, but if you ask me to sit there in a clinic or work with a kid one-on-one in a cage, absolutely not. And people ask me to play men's baseball all the time, and I'm just I absolutely hate the sport. So it's funny how you like staying around the sport, but you didn't like playing.
Yeah.
Now I hate both, but I loved playing.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But I look back on college and I was just, I just started my business now.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I was somewhere in a dorm room standing on top of a table, partying, nowhere close to starting my own business. What was your mindset there? What were you thinking? That's kind of unbelievable.
I mean,
pretty cool.
For me, it was just when I try to think of the origin and why, it's just I think I watched a lot of YouTube videos, social media, and I've always just been a independent person on my own. I don't like being told what to do. So I've always had that, and then I always knew I wanted to start my own business. I always just had a knack for being trying to make money. I'm very interested in even from a young age, I'd be I wonder how much money that person makes. I wonder how this person makes money. How does this company make money? So I've always been interested in that. So I had that mindset. I didn't even want to go into college just because I knew it was a fucking scam. I knew it was a waste of time and money. And just the way that I make decisions that I knew, okay, I can get a better ROI on my time and my money if I don't go to college, because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a business owner. I knew that because of what I wanted to do, I didn't need a college degree.
Right.
So at first I was just I don't really want to do it. I'll go for a year. I'll play basketball. That was the only reason I went, because I played. Mm-hmm. And then I got there. I was basketball is not even that fun. So it's why the fuck am I here?
Yeah.
So then I was just in November, I just said one day, I'm leaving. I told everybody I'm leaving, and then that was that. No looking back.
That's just such an advanced level of thinking at such a young age. Because I think of myself.
Yeah.
Nowhere even close to thinking about ROI of my time and shit. That's nuts. But so you said you watched other people. Did you have anyone around you that kind of pushed you? Did your environment point towards business at all, or you just took the jump on your own?
Yeah, because both my parents work at they don't own their own business. Yeah. My grandfather owned his own business, but nothing crazy. All my uncles work a job. It's like nobody in my family's like, oh, like I own my own business and I got to learn from like my uncle who has a multi-million-dollar business. Like I never got any of that. So like for me, it was just like watching people on YouTube and shit. Like that's how I learned like, okay, like this type of shit is possible.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
absolutely.
like I didn't really have any guidance. I didn't have any like mentors at the time to like guide me through that process. Pretty much everyone, especially older, is like go to college. So it's like no one was like, yeah, like I think dropping out's like a smart decision. Like not one person told me that.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because like for you, obviously it's better to take the jump and take the risk in the beginning when you're younger, and not that we're old, we're still very young.
Yeah.
But like it could lead to two different ways. Like I needed that time to develop and you didn't. So it was good to jump. But like without that time going back and, you know, messing up in college, I don't think I would have been able to get to this point and like appreciate entrepreneurship and like ROI on my time and all this shit unless I went through that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but I think that's it's extremely important from the environment aspect because for someone like you who just not had it in you, but like you did, but you were more likely to you just jumped into it. Yeah. Which is why it's so interesting to me because even at the stage that I'm in my life right now, like you guys, even Alex and you, like you guys bring stuff up and you help me jump into shit. Yeah, yeah. Like the environment is so big. It's very rare to find someone that's like on their own person, be like, I see that, I'm gonna do it. I don't care if I have anybody with me. I'm going that way. Yeah. And everyone just comes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's cool. But especially at environment now, is that something that you're big on now, or something that you kind of were big on in the past, just didn't have it? Or
I was definitely big on it all along. I think the big thing for me, environment-wise, was like the books that I was reading, the people that I was watching, and then like the shit that I was listening to. Like that was my environment. Because I didn't have any. That was like my big thing. Like in high school, I stopped hanging out with like a lot of the kids that I was friends with in like freshman, sophomore year, just because like I didn't fit in with them anymore because of the way that I was thinking and like what I wanted to do with my life. So like from like middle of high school till like a year or two ago, like I didn't have friends like that good environment of like you and Alex, or like people who were trying to do shit and like motivated and all this shit. So it's like I was always big on it. I just never really had it. But that's why I'm so big on it now, is like surrounding myself with the right people, like you, Alex, Manny, Coleman, all these people, like making sure my circle is like everyone has their head on straight.
Yeah. As you get older, I feel like there's less room for error. Yes. And like we're at that point now where, like you said, you can have the books, you can have, you know, your self-awareness, that's kind of your environment as well. You can have your workspace, you can have social media. Yeah. But like having those people that you can kind of watch work on their own. And it's just like, I really, for the first time I hung out with you and Coleman, was like, I felt that energy. And
because that was when?
That was Thanksgiving.
That was the clinic. Yeah, the clinic, right?
Yeah, you guys did. Yeah. And like Alex told me about you guys. I mean, I'm not a basketball guy. I didn't know you guys from a fucking hole in the wall, you know what I'm saying? But like even just, it doesn't matter what you do. Yeah. Just seeing people move at like such a high level, I was like, I want that shit. And it's like crazy because when you surround yourself, it has nothing to do with skill or like your perspective or anything, or like what kind of tangible, like you don't even need a business idea, nothing. It just becomes contagious because you see people work and you're like, okay, I don't know what I want, but I want to live like that.
It's something in there, Like that was like what I kept telling Manny, and like I kept preaching to him. And I was like, you got to start thinking like you want to own a business, even if you don't right now. And he was like, we kept trying to come up with business ideas, because I was like, all right, basketball is cool, but like you're not going to get rich off that for the most part, unless you're playing in the NBA. So I was like, what's going to be your business idea? You thought of a couple different things, a couple different things. And then like recently he came up with like the whole like overseas D3, like helping with like a I don't even know what the word is. Like a bunch of people like coming in. Right? It's like a showcase. Gotcha. So it's like, and he was inspired by our conference that we ran, and then him thinking about trying to be a business owner, the two collided. And that was just because he was hanging around the right people. He saw us go and do something in a totally, I mean, it's the same field, but a different kind of avenue. And then he was able to take that mindset and then go and do something. So it's like, it doesn't even matter if, like, you could be doing something completely different, but just because you're around those people that are thinking in that way, you're going to take that and it's going to apply to your life too.
It's a way of living.
Exactly.
It's just like, you could have some, like those pillars, and you could apply them to anything in life.
Anything, yeah.
But that's funny, and I think that kind of relates to the topic of our podcast of imperfect action. And I think why imperfect action is so important. Like, we don't even have a name for this podcast. And literally, guys, for the people that are going to be listening to this, I called Tyler 2 days ago, and I was trying to get, just talking videos for TikTok and Instagram. And I was like, we should just do like a mock podcast.
Yeah. To get content and shit.
Get content and not even put it on the air.
Yeah.
And this kid goes, if we're going to do it, we should just make it real. And being like-minded individuals, fuck yeah, let's just make it real. If we're going to spend our time, right,
might as well
make it real.
If we're going to do it, like I always tell Alex, we're either 1 foot in,
right.
We're either 2 feet out or we're 2 feet in. We're not one or the other.
Yeah.
We're going to do it, let's fucking do it.
And I think that's so crucial for everybody because it's just like, especially when you bring up the Manny thing, it's like, if you don't even have to have a plan.
Yeah.
And he had an idea of what business he wanted to do and kind of what avenue he wanted to go down, but like where he's now and like even probably where you're at now and where I'm at now is not what I had intended when I went into it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to just jump into it because it's like, I know what I'm going to do. I don't really know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But just surrounding myself with the right people and like having a general idea is just gonna, okay, now that's a good idea. Let me do that. Or you're not gonna start where you end up, and that's just the continuous cycle. Yeah,
you're gonna learn as you go. Talk about you taking your jump, like quitting your job and doing what you like. Why are you sitting right here? Like, what's the jump that you had to make? Like, what happened between college and now to you being sitting here right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, it's a fucking long story, and I know you know that, but college basically for me.
First off, tell people what you're doing in October. So for people that don't know, because that's some lunatic ass shit. But
yeah, and it's another example of imperfect action because I still have no idea how the fuck I'm gonna do this thing. But in October, I will be bear crawling 31 miles for a world record from Brooklyn to Central Park, across the Brooklyn Bridge to the Lower West Side, all the way to the Upper East Side to Central Park. It'll be 31 miles. So that's my world record attempt, and that could be a whole podcast in itself. Yeah. But basically, I didn't get to that point just like that. Mm-hmm. College was kind of a build-up. I kind of went off the rails. It's where I met Alex, and it's funny how take care of the relationships in your life. Because I met Alex through pickup basketball. Yeah. And we were roommates, and I never would have thought that he would be the guy to hook me up with you, and then all of this shit would happen. Like, you never know whoever in your life. Yeah, 100%. You never know who knows who, and what person's gonna become what person, and lead to some opportunity. Yeah. But basically, had no kind of vision goals in college. What did you go to college for again? Health science. What were you gonna be? I wanted to be a physical therapist. Gotcha. So I wanted to be a physical therapist. And then actually wanted to become a nurse. Interesting. So so I went back. I'm pretty smart. I can figure shit out. Especially it's just in school I had no motivation to be smart because it was just like it wasn't what I wanted to do, but I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought it was just like the shit you got out of. I was the opposite, where I was like, just follow the rules, go to school. That was ingrained in me. Yeah. But ended up going back to Franklin Pierce because of COVID. My senior year was the COVID year. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get a full year paid to go get my master's degree. So I kind of had like a year in limbo, and was like, I'm gonna try and become a nurse, and I'm just gonna finish my last year. And kind of through that year is when I really found like self-development. So like journaling, reading, and once you start that stuff, it's just wildfire. It's like once you become in tune with yourself, it's like you can't stop. People don't understand how clear it becomes. Mm-hmm. And it looks almost like we have like just massive balls, and we have the direction, we just know everything, but it's really that clear. Yeah. And anyways, I knew I didn't want to be a nurse anymore. It went back, and I was like, I'm gonna work with athletes, and I wanted to do something around mindset, and I'm gonna fucking bear crawl at the time a marathon, which switched to an ultra marathon, 31 miles. So I started my training, and then started working, and then that was kind of the plan, and I always intended on starting my own business at some point. And then I met you guys, and I was like, that time has to be now. Yeah. And I remember we had a couple conversations, and you were like, well, you can leave your job, move your clients online, you can make moves, right? You started to talk about a plan. And I was just sitting on my thumb, like, there's no, like, nah. I'm like, that sounds great, but like, no. And then I thought about it, and I was just like, I'm 23. I'm sitting in a personal training job that, I remember vividly the one moment I was sitting there at night. It was a Friday night, and I had my last client. It was 9 o'clock on a Friday, and it was after I met you guys, and I was sitting in the gym, and the unique thing about the gym that we have is it's a 50-yard turf, and it's combined with a baseball facility. So there's a glass door, and then a baseball facility. So that's like my present and my past. I can fucking, I'm looking right at it. And I was sitting there with this client, and I'm just like, if I don't make another move for the rest of my life, and no disrespect to any trainers that I work with or anything like that, or like my hitting coach works on the other side when I played. If I don't make another move for the rest of my life, I'm just looking at exactly what I'm going to be. Yeah. Like, I don't have to do anything, and I'll make this money, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be stable.
Yeah, and I'll be good, but it's not mine. Yeah. And then I started to think, I'm like, okay, well, I'm the one that's programming my athletes. I'm the one that's taking care of them, and I'm getting paid half of what I normally would if I just fucking had my own business. Yeah. So I'm doing all the work, settling, and getting half the money. So I was like, okay, fuck this. Yeah. And I left. Yeah. And then now I'm here, and now everything's, it's not, I don't want to say it's what I expected it to be, but it kind of is. I expected it to be a grind, but it was a grind in the past, and now it's just such a beautiful grind because it's my own fucking grind. It's a different type of grind. Yeah. It's like my own, this is my name. Yeah. This is my brand. Yeah. So that's kind of how how was taking the jump though? Like quitting your, because like most people like, oh, like I would love to do something like that. Like it's so easy for you guys to say because you're young or like all this shit. Like, oh, you're lucky you get to do, like people, I hate when people say that. Oh, you're lucky you get to do that. It's like, bro, like you were not there for the last 3 fucking years. Right. So like talk about like you leaving your job, how you went about making that decision and then actually like taking the jump to do it. Yeah, it definitely wasn't an immediate jump. It took some time. And I'm definitely in life, and I don't know, you guys gave me that 3-word, to sum me up when we were in Nevada. Oh yeah, yeah. But you remember what the 3? And it was like I was like overanalyze or something, whatever. Yeah. But I am a, measure twice, cut once kind of guy. Yeah. I'm the opposite. Yeah, and I admire that a lot about you, and that's something that I'm trying to, the imperfect action is something that I struggle with because it's like, especially with my content, but I really just tried to size it up, and it was fucking scary because it was like, now I'm relying on myself. Especially with the bear crawl. I remember that was like one of the bigger things. It was like, all right, you're going to quit your job and have to do all this shit also while trying to train for the bear crawl. Yeah, that too. I mean, it's not easy. My training now, like, yes, I just did a 7-mile crawl yesterday. That took me, and I worked yesterday. Yeah. I still work 2 days in the gym for you guys that don't know. No, I work Tuesdays and Thursdays with the existing clients that I still have. I kept a select few. But yesterday was Thursday. I bear crawled. It was the only nice day out because it's fucking March. Beginning of March. Yeah, it's freezing out. It was the only nice day I had, and bear crawling for 5 hours or 6 hours on a treadmill is fucking miserable. Terrible, yeah. I mean, bear crawling for 5 or 6 hours is pretty miserable for just about anyone in general. And then add watching a rubber mat, the same fucking 12-inch mat, not 12-inch, whatever. But yeah, that was a big part of it, and I had to fucking crawl, which was my main goal. And then go to work and add continuous strain to my body. Yeah. So that was a big factor in leaving because it was like, if I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket, right, I'm going to become the first person to ever do something, I better milk the fucking shit out of this, and I better get it for everything that it's worth. Yeah. Like, I'm working harder than anybody right now in the gym. I know that for a fact. There's nobody that is working harder than me. Nobody's doing the fucking shit that I'm doing. Literally nobody. Why am I going to, one, get paid less than what I'm working for, and give up the biggest fucking goal maybe sacrifice the biggest goal that I have, and look back on it and be like, at the end of this fucking crawl, if I don't complete that, I have to be like, maybe if I just started my own business and could save the strain of my body trying to move around and show and demonstrate for athletes and things like that, I could have got it done. Yeah. Or if I didn't have that added stressor, or if I started my own business and maybe had more money and made a different connection and a sponsorship. It's better to take the jump and regret the jump that you did take than to sit there and be like, I didn't do anything and that's why I fucked up. Absolutely. Yeah, and that was pretty much the final factor of why I made the jump. Because I'm 23 and I was like, there's no better time than now. Yeah. If I'm gonna embrace all the uncertainty, take all the risk, potentially fail miserably, there's no better time than now. Yeah, 100%. because I don't have, I'm still living at home.
Yeah.
I don't have bills really.
Yeah.
So I don't need to make that much money. I can figure out the back end of my business with no money coming in.
Yeah.
And I could still have, I could still stay in the game.
Yeah.
So that was the final thing. It was like, there's one shot at this, and it's now.
Yeah.
Get on the fucking train, or or just shut up and be miserable for the rest of your life. And you're going to be that guy at the end of your life that was like, I could have been.
Yeah.
And that's been my favorite quote, and it's followed me through my whole journey. It's just been like, the only hell I'm afraid of is
getting to your deathbed or meeting the person that you could have been. Yeah,
Yep.
That quote is fire.
The only hell I'm afraid of is when I die, the man I end up as meets the man I could have been.
Yeah.
And if you were ever looking to jump, that's the fucking quote for you.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
It's fucking all out there because, it doesn't take anything to make it work. You have to just work hard.
Yeah.
And everything is figure outable. I love that saying because it's so fucking true. Like, anything you want to do is figure outable. Like, you want to start a bubble gum
most
company?
people have already done it. It's like, it's not hard. You go ask somebody who's done it, or you go pick up a book, or you watch a YouTube video. Someone's done it before, for the most part.
Yep. So it's like, do you want to look back and say, I just didn't have the balls to do that?
Yeah.
Or I did, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to get fucking kicked around along the way.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's going to be worth it. And, and I think one of the biggest things for me too, and you mentioned it before, was just like the identity of it. I have a huge problem, and I've always had a huge problem with doing things for other people. And I don't mean that in a selfish way.
Yeah.
Like, I love giving. But with my time and my energy and, especially my brand now, it's like, I want to make the decisions. I want to be the person that's deciding how and when I'm going to help people and provide my service. I don't want somebody to be dictating my life that you have a session at 8. You have a session at 8:30 today. Fuck. All right. Well, I had a dinner plan, but I guess I'll cancel that.
Yeah.
Or anything, like, especially when we look down the line, we have families and stuff. It's like, it's my daughter's birthday, but it's a Saturday, and I have to work.
Yeah. That's not
Which
the life you want.
You may want to, but you don't want those decisions to be down to anybody
to be
else.
made. Yeah, exactly. To be made by somebody else.
Yeah. So pretty deep shit, but I mean, it's just taking responsibility and ownership of your life is something I find so attractive, and just completely owning your time. And like we talked about this in Colorado when we went to Colorado. It was like, we're in fucking Colorado.
It was a Monday, bro.
On a Monday.
We were skiing on a Monday.
Skiing, and the people next to us on the ski lift, they're fucking like 72.
Yeah, literally.
And it was like, there's two types of people that are on this mountain. The people like us.
Yeah.
Who, are on their journeys to self, owning their time and money and everything and making shit happen. And the people that have already fucking made it happen, that are enjoying what we're going to
or
enjoy.
the people that are just in college and they're high school and they got school off. Like,
family fucking vacation.
But it's like there's no in between. There's nobody that's getting to, like, most people work Monday through Friday, and you don't get a say in that.
No.
And it's like, we can, if we wanted to, wake up tomorrow and go anywhere we want. We can wake up on Monday and go anywhere we want.
Yep.
And that's what I was talking to one of my buddies about, because I'm trying to. He wants to leave coaching to like do his own training thing. And I was like, bro, the biggest thing is, like, even if you make the same amount of money, but you can move when you want, you have control of your time. That is the biggest thing. I'd
say it's worth making less money.
100%. And the funny thing is, you'll end up making more. So it's like.
And I think that's where a lot of people don't understand. Is yes, it's scary. When it's your name.
Exactly.
And it's your business.
You're going to be working hard anyways.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything about the lifestyle just fascinates me. But and like that stems back to environment and everything. But I think it's important for people to understand that imperfect action is always better than perfect inaction.
100%.
The imperfect thing that you do is better than the thing that never gets done. Like this fucking podcast.
Exactly.
Because now,
like, we could have waited, we could have planned it to a T, we could have made sure we got all the equipment, waited a couple weeks, planned exactly what we wanted to say to a T, and it could have been April or May when we started this.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's 2 months of time that we could have used to start to build this. Like, that's why we just said, fuck it, let's just do the first one. Most people aren't going to listen to the first one. In 3 years, it's not going to matter whether we started today and it was perfect, or we started today and it wasn't perfect, or we started in 2 months and it was perfect. And that rolls over into anything, like you said, content. going to start your own business even if you don't have a perfect plan. Like, that's what me and Coleman did with the whole conference. Like, no one's done that before. We had no idea what we were doing. We were literally pissing in the dark. We had no, like, we're just figuring it out as we went.
There's nothing that fires me up more than that, though. It's just like throwing fucking shit at a wall.
Yeah.
And it sticks.
Just figure it out. Just figure it out as you go.
You know, like, it sucks when you're throwing shit at a wall and it's like, okay, it's not working, it's not working. But like, especially for I mean, I didn't know you for the PDC, but like, it seemed like a success.
Oh yeah, it was great.
So when you're pissing,
and it was a big risk because we were guaranteeing these speakers are going to be getting X amount of money, and like we have to make that money. We have no idea if people are actually going to sign up for it or not. We have no idea.
I can't even imagine.
Like, we have no clue.
That's fucking nuts.
Like, and that's been the theme, literally the theme of my life is imperfect action.
Yep.
Started posting on social media. I literally just posted a random video of me dribbling. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just gonna start posting. And I just said I'm gonna post every single day. And I did that for like, out of maybe 365 days, I posted 300. Half of them had no idea what I was doing. No clue. YouTube, same thing. I just started, no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm interested in your perspective on you looking back on that person. Like, you look back through, like, is that something that you do often or not?
Not really.
No? Really?
No.
See,
I mean, like, I look back to where I was, but not the person I was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you guys already go over why you left, why you decided to leave?
What do you mean?
For him to leave his job or mine?
leave his job.
Yeah. I mean, he could have went in a little more depth, but
it's kind of the same thing.
Into, like, what
it's like the
convinced him,
same thing
but-
that you told me, and then you told him. And
yeah,
then
I
he
convinced
just,
two dudes to leave their job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's building like a list, like a kill list.
Yeah. So if you guys want to leave your job,
Come talk to me.
come talk to Tyler. Shoot him a DM and a follow. But that's interesting because it's something I do frequently, like daily.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like, there's not, like, especially yesterday when I was at, because I told you. So for reference, people, yesterday I was fucking bear crawling 7 miles for my training, and usually 5 laps around a football field is a mile, and I was on a soccer field yesterday. So I was doing 5 laps around a soccer field, which is bigger than a football field, and my time was just completely off. I was moving so slow, so I was like, something is fucking wrong. And I ended up looking it up, and I was way ahead. You know, I was actually moving fast, but for the last mile, my fucking wrists were killing me, dude. I thought my hand was a little broken because, like, every time I would put it down, it felt like crunching. Yeah. And the only thing I said to myself was, like, the motherfucker that you were would stop right now. Like, you should, like, this is why you should keep going. Yeah. And it's something I do it daily. And it's when I left my job, like, bro, you would have been so fucking scared. Not even scared. You would have been, but, like, because and not that I wasn't now. Like, I'm still not scared, but I'd say, like, uncertain of how it's going to work.
Yeah.
But, like, and I wrote a blog about this the other day. It was like, the person that I was would look at me now and be like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
And that,
I'd
just
say
for me, that
the one way that I look at it as, what would my teenage self think of who I am now? Like, if I was 16 and got to look at, like, me owning my own gym, doing all this shit, like, they'd be like, that's cool as fuck. Yeah. Like, I'd say that's, like, the only real, like, I don't think about the person I was, but I think about, like, where I was in my life. Like, I'll constantly think back, like, me and Manny talk about all the time, like, yo, remember when we were outside of my driveway, like, working out? Like, I was literally watching YouTube videos, my old YouTube videos yesterday from 2 years ago, right when COVID happened, and I was watching those videos because I remember that, like, right when COVID hit, I was like doing not daily vlogs, but like weekly vlogs, and I was like talking about, like, as COVID was starting to, like, unfold, I'm like, hopefully this doesn't, like, affect business, and it's like, I was literally vlogging, having no idea what I'm doing, just started my YouTube channel, training kids out of Millworks, I was so uncertain of what the hell was going to happen. And then now it's just like everything worked out, I guess. Yeah. But it's just like, I mean, that's just how it works. But it's like, even for you, it's like you were saying yesterday, it was like, you're in the position that I was 2 years ago. So it's like, for you, it's like there's uncertainty, but it's like, if you were to just like, and it's like foresight. Like, I know in 2 years, I'm going to look back to right now and be like, oh, it all worked out.
You should.
Like one of the things that I think about a lot, and one of the chapters in my book is like, one day you're going to look back to exactly where you are right now and wish you could go back. So it's like, there will be times 2 years from now where you can go back and wish you were right where you started. Like, I wish I could go back to right when I started. There was uncertainty. I had no idea what I was doing. And it's like, so it's like, you always got to appreciate, like, even when shit's uncertain, you have no idea what's going on. It's like, you're going to wish you could be back in that position.
Yeah, well, hindsight's 20/20.
Exactly. So it's like if you know hindsight's 20/20, have enough foresight to realize hindsight's 20/20,
Exactly.
and just
Be present.
Exactly.
And enjoy. But that you can enjoy the uncertainty, and that's something that I love, and especially vulnerability is like I love that feeling now, and I'm starting to love it more in business because it's different when it's financial because it's like your livelihood. You know, the bear crawl, I learned very quickly that like I'm never going to know that I'm ready for this thing. I'm never going to know that I'm going to complete it, but I can really love that because at the end of the day, as much as it would suck to not complete it, all that matters is that I did something absolutely fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I had the balls to do something that only one person's ever done
And
something
stick
like.
to it.
Right. Yeah. Like nobody's probably ever gonna fucking do this.
Yeah.
But I just like looking back because, and I hope in 5 years, like you said, you look back and you wish you were present in the moment. But also, in terms of imperfect action, I hope I look back in 5 years and be like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah.
And then in 5 years, at the person I am in 5 years, I hope the person in 10 years looks back and is like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah, that should always be the case.
So like, if you're looking to jump and do something and take a risk, the last thing you want to do is have everything figured out. That's probably a bad sign.
You're waiting too long.
You're waiting too long, but also like you're not pushing far enough.
No, exactly, 100%.
You need the uncertainty and everything else because, okay, if I don't have that, it's not big enough. I'm not gonna really reach my potential.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to look back and be like, okay, I knew nothing, and I'm happy I made the jump, but like, I would do X, Y, and Z now differently.
You should always be biting off a little bit more than you can chew, 100%.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you have to push your boundaries. Otherwise, you're never going to find your potential.
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole thing of growth. Like life, and it's my brand of never stop hustling. Not my brand, but like my motto. I read it after every Instagram. Is like, there's no fucking end to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there is none.
You're going to open a facility after this, and then there's something after that, and then after the next thing, it's going to be something else, and then you die.
Yeah.
And it's
the game
like,
ends.
When is enough?
Yeah.
So it's like if you could look at it as a game and like I'm going to keep pushing that envelope forward. You should always look back and be thankful that, okay, I took the risk and that was good. And I'm okay taking the risk because the risks are never going to fucking end.
The risk, 100%. Because you die
never
anyways.
Gonna end.
You die
Right.
anyways.
Until you die, there's
Life
always
is a
gonna be
risk
something.
in general. You being alive is a risk because you're going to fucking die.
100%.
So it's like, how risky is anything? As long as you don't die, you'll be all right.
Right, and that's why I find that interesting because, and I know we talked about this literally in Chipotle before the podcast, but going back to like our ancestors and like evolution and stuff. We understand fear now a completely different way than what fear was to us. Like fear, however many
Survival
years ago
tactic.
was literally life or death.
Yeah.
If I don't make the correct decision, I'm dead.
Yeah, you're going to get eaten by an animal. Or something.
Today, if you don't make the decision, you live to see another day.
Yes.
So it's more anxious. Like I try and use fear as a compass now because it's like, the things that scare me are the obstacles, the way it's the things that you should do.
Yes.
My life isn't on the line anymore.
Yeah.
So,
if you go and speak and do something you're scared of, you'll be all right.
Right, you're not.
And
Nobody's
it's
gonna
probably
kill
the thing that you really want to do.
Right. Yeah, you care.
Because if
about
it didn't scare you, it wouldn't mean anything to you.
Yeah, you have to care about it. But no, I think just for growth, there's also no other opportunity to grow than when you're afraid of something. Like if you feel comfortable in something, that's all fine and dandy. That's great.
Yeah.
But like you're not going to learn a lot from that. And when you're scared, when the dust settles and it's all said and done, there's just a ton of value to take from that scenario, that instance. I've learned a lot from probably more in the past 6 months than I have my whole life, just trying to follow fear and vulnerability and be like, I have no idea what I'm doing here, but I need to go down that route because that's where the answers are going to be to get me to where I need to go.
I think the big motto for me has always been burn the boats, but it's always like necessity is the best way to get better at something. So like me, I look back and it's like, all right, like I probably have the equivalent of multiple college degrees because it's like you're going to learn through experience 10 times more than you will be getting told to do something. So it's like I took a great lesson in communication by going to fucking speak to 120 kids when I didn't want to, going to speak to 120 coaches I didn't want to, speaking a million times on YouTube, Instagram videos. I got a lot better at communicating by doing that. That's learning through experience.
Yeah.
I learned how to run a fucking business by running a goddamn business and constantly biting off more than I can chew. I learned how to invest by trial and error, learning. Watch, like, you learn by doing shit. So it's like you said, experience is the best thing, but it's also like, give yourself no other option to be able to figure it out. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's why I told you, like, just quit your job. Like, if you want to do it, once you quit your job, you're going to fucking figure it out. You have no other choice.
Right.
So it's like, if you want to make that jump, sometimes you need to, not because that's the biggest thing, right? Is like, okay, you could stay at your job while slowly building your business. But it's like, you have no need. Subconsciously, you don't know you don't need to do this. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're comfortable. So it's like, you're going to constantly keep doing that. When you quit your job, your business is going to grow 10 times faster because you need it to grow 10 times faster to survive. Yeah. And you're going to learn way faster because you need to, and you're going to learn because you're actually doing it as opposed to fucking watching people. And like, that's why, like, you're never going to have the perfect plan because you don't know until you actually have done it.
Right.
So that's why, like, I hate fucking the whole college system. Is like, okay, let's learn about business by reading a fucking textbook and learning by someone who's never owned a business. It sounds good on paper until you have to actually go and execute it.
Yeah. You missed the belief in yourself. And I think that was one thing that I had to really dig deep on, especially, like, you know, my drives home, like, after we would chat and stuff, was like, I wanted to keep one foot in the door and one foot out the door so badly. But I really boiled it down. It was like, the only reason I'm keeping one foot in and out, one foot in, you know, training and one foot in my business is because, like, I didn't fucking believe in my business.
Or
and it was like, I had to cold turkey cut it off and be like, I have no choice but to leave my business.
It's like the figure it outable. Like, like, have confidence in your ability to figure it out.
Yeah, that's my life motto.
Yeah,
is make the hard decision because it's the right one.
Yeah,
and just fucking you figure it out.
Yeah,
and not that I live by that perfectly, but I attempt to, and I think, you know, it's funny because once I started to bring that attitude into other areas of my life, you know, the bear crawl's always been like my staple.
Yeah.
But once I started to elevate that, you know, other areas of my life, my personal life, with that, you know, burn the boats mentality, the business, burn the boats, the bear crawl has become less frightening. It's become like, it's crazy. Like, a 31-mile bear crawl has become my safety net.
Yeah.
And it's because everything about it is uncertain.
Yeah.
And the only way to overcome that uncertainty is to, like, burn the fucking boats. You know, like, I will not cross that finish line unless I am willing to fucking die.
Yeah. Unless you literally physically can't.
Right.
And you get carried off the goddamn concrete.
Probably not. I probably would. The only way I don't finish that is probably if somebody says, like, okay, we need to shut this down.
Yeah.
That's it. I will.
Do you ever get nervous about what people would say if you don't finish?
Yeah, but they can go crawl fucking 31 miles. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I used to, definitely. Like, I used to, you know, really worry about, like, okay.
Other people's opinions or whatever.
Other people's opinions, but also I connected my brand to this bear crawl. And that's one thing I've really tried to separate with my content is, like, the bear crawl's great, but I don't want to be the bear crawl.
Yeah.
I want the bear crawl to be something that I did or do.
Yeah. Part of the brand, not the brand.
Yeah, right. Not the whole thing. Because that's where I really worried about it was like, okay, I don't get this done. Everything else that I've been saying, you know, to people on Instagram or, you know, YouTube is now discredited.
But you could also use that.
Absolutely.
As, like, motivations, like, you need to.
Oh yeah, well, I'm telling you, if I don't do this thing, that it's going to be the greatest training day for the next time. Like, this will happen in my lifetime.
Yeah, you're gonna do the 31 miles.
Maybe not the first time, but the second time.
Yeah,
it will happen.
You're gonna do it. Yeah.
So no matter what, it's gonna happen, and there is no second time.
It's just you do it once.
Exactly. But yeah, it's been interesting because I've been able to kind of see both sides of it, where it's like I kind of care what people think, but I've also been forced to learn how to not very quickly because, like, you know, with Alex bringing me here and meeting you and, like, everything that we're going to do, like, even the podcast now, it's like I'm already around people that don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Now that you just brought that up, like, I didn't even think about, like, what are people going to say about, like, me dropping a podcast? Like, I feel like most people, like, I feel like most people would, like, think about, like, oh, I wonder what, like, someone's going to say. Like, I deadass did not cross my mind. Because, like, for me, it's like, all right, like you said, like, just constant imperfect action. Like, fuck, let's start a podcast. I don't care. Let's just do it.
Right.
Like, and I don't think about it.
Yeah, but that's the belief that, like, as much as we want to normalize it, and like as much as what we do has become normal in our circle.
Yeah.
If you know, like we drove down the block right now and like sat in, I don't know, like a regular gym.
Yeah.
We're probably like 3 of like 3. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just like this is what we do is very rare. And you know, we, especially in this podcast, make it look effortless to go out there and just be like, all right, we're going to record a podcast and we're going to put our opinions out there, and you know, we could fuck this thing up, and we didn't even think about what people would say about us. But that's the result of continuing to move forward, even when you know people might say shit.
And get better as an individual. Be more content with who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Like, and that comes down to the journaling, the meditation, like all that kind of shit. Like, it doesn't just like, that's like another thing. People are like, oh, you're so lucky, like you don't care. Like people might say shit like that, or like, oh, like it's just easy for you guys to say. It's like, no, like we did care about what people think.
Yeah.
Like we used to, and like we worked on it and we built it and we got better as people, and then now we're here.
Yeah, and it was either don't do it or and regret it, or do it and have people talk shit, but at least I got to where I wanted to be.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's like you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. One has some repercussions. The other one has like the most life-threatening, life-weighing repercussions of regret.
Yeah.
So it's like, would you rather have some people talk shit along the way and at least say that you fucking tried or you got where you wanted to go, and there's a chance that you get it, even just a chance.
Yeah.
Or just know you don't have a chance, but you're fine. You're good over here, and no one's gonna say anything about you.
Yeah.
I'd rather people talk shit,
Yeah.
and I'd rather.
I think
be
the
on my
easiest way is to just realize like you're gonna die. That person who's talking shit's gonna die. Number one, the person who's talking shit really is more targeting at themselves than it is about you. Yeah. Like it's really not about you. It's about that person. Because like if, like for us, like, not that we're not insecure, but like in this area, like going and doing shit that is unordinary. Like if some random, like if I was to like go start a podcast, or he wants to go start a podcast, I'd be like, cool, dude. But like if you're insecure about what you're doing and what your limits are, then like Alex goes and starts a podcast, you'd be like, why, dude? Like that's so dumb. Like because you know that you could go and do something, but you're not brave enough. Yeah. It's like a lot of times when people say shit, it's not about you, it's about them anyways.
Yeah, you definitely say go and do it. Like you've told me to do it before.
Yeah.
But I feel
like, oh, I want to start a podcast. But go ahead.
Because as soon as you said that, I started thinking about what would people say if I started a podcast, and I was like, I mean, I think like down to like the Instagram post that I put up, like, is this too much? And then I'm like, nah, I'm a fucking photographer. I can post whatever the fuck I want. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But I had a question off of like what you guys were talking about. Obviously, well established that you guys don't give a fuck what people think. That is very clear.
Zero.
But I'd be interested to know, and me and Selman were looking earlier to kind of find like and I don't know, did you find anything like worth mentioning? But we were gonna look and find like what is the funniest, or like the, in hindsight, maybe it wasn't that mean, but like the meanest thing you've ever read in your comments and been like, damn, bro, like, why would you say that?
Oh, like in my comments?
Like, yeah, like comments? about you. Like, what was the fun, like, I don't want to.
I mean, there's definitely been some shit that people have said, just like completely like no reason, but I don't really remember, honestly. Yeah. There's nothing that comes to
there's not one that like sticks out in your head. Like, you ever see like the NBA?
There's definitely been some wild ones.
Yeah, right. I have one.
People have been called me midget and shit like that.
Yeah. See, that's different. Like, that's.
I mean, that's just like the one that just like comes to the top of my head.
Yeah, I had one the other day, and it's funny, because I don't have a job.
Yeah.
Because I employ myself.
Yeah.
And I posted my morning routine, and somebody wrote,
that was funny,
unemployed. Or one of them was like, do you have, this kid definitely doesn't have a fucking job. And I was just like,
that's
no,
the point.
I don't, because I fucking work for myself, you fucking moron. But yeah, so whatever.
Yeah.
It was on TikTok. The kid didn't even have a fucking profile picture, so it was like, I wish I could look at this.
It's usually how it works, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's once you can really believe in, you know, or understand that what people say is just a reflection of their own envy and you know who they are, it almost becomes entertaining. Like, I can very much so speak for you on this too. Like, I almost wait for the post that hits and people flood my comments with like, unemployed, whatever. So I'm like,
negative
oh, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
The views are coming in. Like, you know,
even if
get
when
me
they're
some
when they're
analytics.
hating, they're helping you. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. It's just
your
like,
haters will make you a lot of money.
yeah, I don't care what you say as long as you're pushing my post and you're gonna make me more money.
Exactly.
So
You're boosting the
that's fine.
engagement.
Talk all the shit you want. That is, you're just gonna help me get to where you don't want me to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a good, like, not quote, but thing like I heard Joe Rogan say is like, a lot of times when people get offended, and this is why, like, even when you get offended by, like, because we're all gonna have that, like, first initial reaction of, like, how you feel when someone says something, even if it's like a dumbass comment, but like, you feel offended based on your beliefs. So it's like, someone could say like, oh, you're a midget, and I can get offended, and it's like, that's just because I believe. Like, if you feel that way, it's because you believe that you are.
He believes he's a midget.
Not like that, but I'm just saying, I'm just using it as an example. But
No,
like, if someone's like, you're stupid, and you feel offended by that, it's because you actually believe that you're stupid.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't think that you're stupid, that comment doesn't actually hurt you.
Right.
So it's like, if it does, you have to question like your beliefs.
Right.
In general.
And you know, I think it's important to note that it's normal to get offended by certain shit.
Oh yeah.
But it's not okay to get offended by shit and not do anything about it. It's like, you know, say I was to get offended by that dude's comment. That's a perfect indicator of like what I should spend my time and attention on. It's like you're unemployed, like, oh, this kid, you know, doesn't have a job, whatever. If that really got to me, it's probably because I'm maybe not putting the time and energy I should be into my business.
Yeah.
You know, because who is this guy that doesn't know anything about me? How does he know that? You know? So I think, you know, except the midget thing, you can't really do anything about that. But that's just, you have to be okay with being a midget, I guess. Or you can
Which he is.
go to a special
call it that,
surgery in a
whatever.
different country. But, you know, when people poke at
Special
you,
surgery.
you know, and those things hit home, it's an insecurity, but act on that insecurity. You know, become better in your sport, become better in your business, or your education or anything like that, because it's obviously something you care about. So lock in on that thing and make sure the next time somebody says shit, they have nothing to say, or you don't care because you know you put in the work.
Exactly.
But
So you guys are coming up on the hour, maybe a little bit over.
50,
I don't know what
50 minutes.
50-minute mark
yeah.
here. Is there anything going on outside of your lives that you'd like to talk about?
outside of my life,
Outside of your life, beyond something going on in the news, sports, anything?
don't make this political. No, okay.
You just said not news.
Yeah.
Like what? Like, what do you mean outside of my life? Like, my life entails everything.
Yeah, I'm saying anything. I'm
Got a new
saying
car,
like,
guys.
I'm saying
You got a
it's
new-
been
you got
a
a new
nice
car.
50 minutes of
Yeah,
lessons learned.
that was, yeah. I mean, we did.
I'd
we
take
did
some
go
opinion.
Very, very deep.
All right, you
This
ready?
would be good for us to clip.
All right, buddy, we're ready.
Nothing might come out of this,
Probably not.
but I think it'll be kind of funny.
Let's hear it.
I'll start with you, Tyler. Would you rather be half your height or double your weight?
Half my height.
Yeah, what, bro?
Anyways, next question.
Well, can we lose the weight?
Huh?
Can you lose the weight?
Yeah.
Then
I
I'm
can do
going
that.
double. I
That's
can
my-
lose the
that's
weight
my
quick.
job.
Yeah.
So I will double
You
the weight.
can't lose the half your height.
No, I know. Yeah. But I thought I was just
Well, that's
permanently
the
at that
thing.
weight.
It's like if you're gonna weigh that question, you have to.
Exactly.
You can't gain back height, but you
Wait,
can
so
lose weight.
you would rather be half your height than double your weight?
No.
I'd rather double
if
my
I
weight
can
than
lose
lose
it,
it.
I'd rather be double my weight because I can
All
lose
right, no,
it.
you can't lose it.
I'd rather be.
You
double
can't
my
go
weight.
below whatever 2 times
Bro,
you
you're
are
gonna
right
be
now.
320 pounds, bro. You're gonna die within 10 years.
So you're gonna be 3'6"?
Yeah, but that's,
Fuck it, bro.
You can't coach. No, you can't be a trainer.
Bro, you can't do nothing if you're 350 pounds anyways.
That is not true.
Not true, but you can.
I could probably get one of those TLC shows.
All right, whatever. Next
My
question.
Incredible Bear
Next
Crawl?
question. Let's
My
go.
incredible bear.
Let's go. Next. It'll probably make it easier if you're 3'5" to bear crawl. Actually, it'll probably be harder.
No, it'd
Next
it'd
question.
Probably be way easier because I'd weigh less.
No, because you have shorter arms and legs.
Would you rather have no one come to your own wedding or your own funeral?
We're doing Would You Rather. My funeral.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? You know what's funny, bro? And speaking of the topic of like talking shit, and we're always gonna find a way to tie this back into some philosophical shit, but
I know one at my funeral.
I
That
was
would be my
thinking,
answer.
like, if I know I'm gonna die, I would love to die like a day early and see who fucking comes to my funeral.
Wait, what? That doesn't make sense.
No, like
Okay,
you have
okay,
a
got
fake
you, got you,
funeral.
got you,
Like
got
you
you.
know you're gonna die, so like
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it and be like, oh, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I would die a day early, and then the next day, like, die by not by myself, but I would have like maybe you, like my
the people that actually showed up to your
that
funeral.
wouldn't snitch on me and be like, yo, he threw a fucking fake funeral. Or after I'm dead, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you
today,
tell.
I don't think it would really matter, but I get your point.
Yeah, we get his
Right.
point.
If I could plan it to the day,
Yeah.
or like a week, you know, doc says you have a week to live.
Yeah, just be like, he died.
I would be like, okay, you know, he died suddenly, you know,
Yeah.
5 days later,
Yeah,
and I would sit in the back of my funeral,
yeah,
and I want to see who shows up.
yeah. It'd be interesting. But
I feel like I would be too motivated to like come out of the disguise and be like, fuck you.
yeah. Well, you'd be
Why are
saying,
you
fuck.
here?
Yeah, yeah. But then also you'd be saying, fuck you to the people that didn't show up.
True, but I wouldn't
But-
be able to, they wouldn't be right
It's a
there.
really
No,
shitty
exactly.
way to spend
But
the last
also,
day of your life.
The only reason I
Well-
don't care who goes to my funeral, but if no one went to my funeral, it means I didn't really live a meaningful life or make an impact.
Yeah.
So like, that's why I would not care if people are at my wedding.
Yeah, I would like to think, knock on wood, I've already racked up a you know, pretty solid list.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'd be some good people there.
Yeah.
But
Good question, Alex.
yeah, that's a good one. I think your funeral really says a lot about the person you are. Like you can
Yeah.
you can go to a funeral, you don't even know the person. Like you could tell by the room.
Mm-hmm.
This,
How much of an
they
impact.
they lived a good life.
Yeah. How much they meant to other people.
Yeah. You know, but it's funny because I think a lot of family members too. Like when my grandfather died 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to my grandfather's funeral and like, he didn't talk about anything that he did,
Mm-hmm.
but there were so many people there that would like come up to my grandmother and like, you know, talking to me and stuff about like stuff my grandfather did. And it was
Yeah.
like, wow, like it was just so, you understood like how, like he was such a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that happens a lot at funerals. It's
Yeah.
like, you don't realize like who, like the person that you lost, and then like you hear other people talk about them. It's like, wow, they were even better than I
Yeah,
thought. Like
yeah.
I knew them to be, because you only know
So much. Yeah.
how you
That
see
that
them.
part of the person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys for watching. That is the end of the first episode. We do not know what the name of the podcast is. You guys will know as you guys are watching this. But yeah, it was a good conversation. Many more to come. If you guys want any certain topics or things that you like that we talked about, drop them below. But yeah, we're going to keep putting out content, keep having good conversations, try to hopefully in the future bring on some good people. And then hopefully we'll end every time with Alex giving us some interesting questions.
Yeah.
So always stick around for the end for those random questions that mean absolutely nothing. But
You
yeah,
want to hear our miscellaneous thoughts.
yeah, exactly. On unnecessary shit.
All right.